Found in the northeast corner of Italy, on the shores of the Adriatic Sea, lies Venice, the Serenissima. Among hundreds of small islands separated by a network of canals and connected by bridges, the ghetto. The ghetto is one of the oldest Jewish communities in Europe, where 5 synagogues will be built between the 16th and the 17th centuries, all with discrete facades. Today, the Venice Ghetto is a tourist destination with a vibrant Jewish community which is alive and well and which preserves its religious traditions. For 500 years, the Jews of Venice have been worshiping in their synagogues of the ghetto in ceremonies which punctuate Jewish life. Like this boy, who is here to celebrate his bar mitzvah along with his family and friends. During the Middle Ages, at the time of the Crusades, Catholic Venice welcomes the Jews of the diaspora. From the 11th century, Jews trade with Venetian merchants, but are not given permission to live in the city. All this changes in the spring of 1516. The government of Venice, under the leadership of Doge Leonardo Lorenzo, grants them permanent residence. They are offered a place to settle on an island in a neighborhood located on the outskirts of Venice, which earlier housed the foundries of the city.
So here we are in the ghetto area, which was the periphery, the northern periphery of Venice, and this is where the foundry that was turned into the ghetto was found and chosen to place and segregate the Jews while giving them that amount of protection that also made it acceptable for them to stay. In other places it was impossible to stay, so it was an acceptable compromise.
Shaul Bassi is professor of English and post-colonial literature at Ca' Foscari University in Venice. He has published several books on Venice and the ghetto.
Italy, and Venice in particular, were sort of safer places for the Jews. And Venice was, of course, a great capital. It was an independent state, a republic, where rights were granted to all citizens more than most other places in Europe. Freedom of religion, not by modern standards, by the standards of the day, was pretty big by then.
The first Jews to arrive come from Germany. They are the Ashkenazi, which means Germans in Hebrew. They are quickly joined by the Sephardi, a term referring to the Jews of the Iberian Peninsula, followed by the Jews of Italy, those from the south of France, and then from the Ottoman Empire. From this cosmopolitan explosion, 5 synagogues will be built representing each diaspora: the Scola Tedesca, the Scola Canton, the Scola Italiana, the Scola Levantina, and the Scola Spagnola. They will become the sacred places of the ghetto.
The identity of Venice is based on Christian and Catholic history. So when the ghetto was established, one of the conditions was that the first group of Jews, the Germans and the Italians, were allowed to worship, but they had to do in a way that would not offend the Christians. So the synagogues could not be built from the ground. They had to be created within existing building. And so even today, 3 of the 5 synagogues in the ghetto are almost invisible from the outside. Roughly 12 years into the ghetto existence, they create a synagogue, means we are here to stay. And Jews know that any time, any day could be their last, and of course the permanence was renegotiated a number of times. But we're still talking about the place that almost uniquely has 5 beautifully preserved synagogues that were originally built in the 16th and 17th century.
Today, in the Scuola Spagnola, a 13-year-old American boy who came especially from New York to the Venice Ghetto to celebrate his bar mitzvah. This ceremony will mark his religious rite of passage from child to adult.
The synagogue is not only a place of prayer. Here, there is also an exchange of ideas and meetings. Synagogue, in Hebrew, Bet Knesset, means a meeting place. It is, to a certain extent, where Jews of the community gather and participate. These places also have stories to tell. That's because the names of the congregants are inscribed on the benches. From them, we get a sense of successive family histories from the many who sat here. And this synagogue, which is over 500 years old, has a very long story to tell. One is asked, how old is this synagogue? About 500 years old. How old are the sacred Torah scrolls? About 300 or 400 years old. And you're still reading them? We have to make sure that the Torah is sacred. Even if there is one out-of-place written letter, the Torah becomes no longer sacred. This place represents a continuous flow of history and the story of a people who have participated together in prayer. And even though you feel alone in prayer, you're still praying with the many generations who preceded you.